have Nick Adams on the line. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Nick, how are you today, brother?
I'm very well, thank you. It's a real pleasure
And privilege to have you on the Mike Miller Show. Listen, I was just talking a little bit, I don't know if you heard it or not, but yesterday, and talking to, Americans, employees, whenever he hears politicians say how exceptional we are, he says, I always get a little uptight when I hear we're not exceptional, but not because we're not exceptional, but because it's a kind of exceptional. A lot of other places do exceptional things. So that is just kind of typical of, I did not knowing that you would be a guest, I did a segment on the show last week, plays about your 11 statements that are politically incorrect. And
well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It would have been right up your alley. Can I just say on Secretary Kerry that with a straight face, declared was a greater threat to American national security. I don't know what makes Secretary Kerry uncomfortable or uneasy, or John Kerry clearly has a credibility problem, I think, in the world, particularly just and frankly ridiculous assertion.
Well, and as does Barack Obama. Obama, of course, the first thing he reassigned NASA's main Muslim outreach program, and then within the last year or so, it was to global warming. And of course, as you know, these people say it is us on the right, science, but isn't it them who are not paying attention to all recent studies and data?
That's exactly right, Mike. Look, when it comes to President Obama, I think there's no talk about. He has been a monumental failure. America is less respected because of his administration. Not only that, his administration has been vindictive to its, and there are 4 dead Americans who were left behind in Benghazi. Frankly, home sales. But when you want to talk about climate change, whole anthropogenic environmentalism, that the left, Mike, it's for me, it's very simple, and it's very intellectualism is naturally authoritarian. It has a naturally authoritarian streak because its other is that people can't be trusted. We're dirty, we're polluting, we lead giant instinct is always to rein us in, to rein in our ambitions, to lower our criticisms. There is undoubtedly a really censorious streak in environmentalism in the term denier, which was the term used during the Inquisition. In God, they were referred to as deniers of the truth. Now, that's the term you hear who question the science, who question the politics. And global warming is a greater threat than terrorism is astonishing. If we were to slash carbon emissions, the Western world would experience, Mike, a severe economically expand, and individual liberty would contract. Man-made warming leading to catastrophe hypothesis on the left. I mean, many scientists have taken news media means that those scientists are rarely given attention.
I would take it a step further, or at least the other shoe, if you will. I'm one of those who is of the Model 3 distribution. I mean, we saw that with Al Gore with the ridiculous carbon offset. We see it with Barack Obama with its global plan to redistribute trillions of dollars of wealth from America called developing countries. Isn't it a lot about wealth redistribution?
It is. It's all about them in disguise. Very simple. Effectively, what you have, this is from wealthy countries to poorer countries. This is a way of weakening capitalism without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, this is an ideology as environmentalism, and the truth is that this is all hysteria. World economies to contract greatly enough to induce widespread unemployment and economic, precisely what we would do. I am much more clear. Without man, the environment is insignificant. Nature has without man, it has no meaning. And what I find really incredible, I think, is quite the secular nature of this whole idea that man is so powerful and that the God outlook, and very anti-American as a result of it.
No question. I mean, it was going to be Armageddon. The world as we know it, at least in the Gulf, was going to cease to exist. This planet has an uncanny ability to heal itself, and the Gulf will...
Yeah. Well,
Listen, Nick's book.
Exactly,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Russ nailed it, and you're exactly right.
Nick's latest book to what he calls the world's greatest turnaround nation. And Nick, you're saying that we're going to be back. I referenced when you first came on the political incorrect quotes, if you will. You said warriors, not government-dependent, political correct pussycats. Leave that to Europe. We seem to be moving in exactly the direction of the failed states of Europe. And I guess that millions upon millions of Americans now seem, at least in my view, inherently what is going on in America that is creating this.
Let's have a look what's happened to Europe. Let's see why Europe is in the position. One is secularism. The other is a big, powerful welfare state and the culture. Now, any one of those three alone is destructive. But together, the state and the war against national identity culture is lethal. Now, a society in which some enormous state possesses everything reduces the individual to the status, necessitates small government. And there is a powerful moral case against the welfare state. Primary reason Americans give more to charity and volunteer more time per capita. Well, it's happening, Mike, because the mainstream media is running a protection racket. It's happening because no one is teaching the next generation of Americans let alone what is superior or even simply unique about it. American children are being European, not American values. And the American way can only provide, contrary to what at least two generations of Americans have been taught, America was designed to be a God-based country, and from its inception it was. And so we are seeing this intellectual drift toward big government and centrally planned, highly regulated societies. And this drift, I don't want, and this is the reason why I wrote the book, Mike, I don't want America to sacrifice its name on the altar of multiculturalism and the lie of the utopian virus. The decline of America terrifies me. I don't want America to enter silence in the pursuit of freedom and
it just baffles me when one need only look to what whether it be economically with Greece and Spain and to an extent Italy, Islamization of Europe, particularly Great Britain, well underway, and Londonistan, as I like to call it. Look what's happening right now, just as it relates to with the Israelis defending themselves. So one wonders, at least this one wonders, as we used to say across the pond, and say, I don't want to be like that.
That's exactly right. I'm always asked, what I always say, I don't need evidence and I don't need proof because it's in front of all of us. Happened to Europe. Look at them culturally, look at them economically, look at everything that we can assess. And Europe is moribund. It is dying. Is a enormous problem. And Islam and the left are ideological as America is strong. And that is why the left around the world run interference, Islamist. Why is it that the rebels criticize Christianity except Islam? It's because the left sets the rules of discourse of the world. And the truth is, Mike, it's a very simple truth, or to conquer and convert people in countries from the Atlantic Ocean to Western China. None of the conquered countries threatened Muslim Arabia. The purpose was to, from its inception until present, Islam has been violent. To argue tolerant, one would have to argue that most believing Muslims, including especially from Muhammad's time forward, were violating their religion's basic tenets, compatible with liberty. And the most humane societies in the world, or no Quran-based societies, have attained equivalent moral development, not to mention. And I always like to say that an American's view is life, an Islamist view is death, slavery, and the pursuit of power. And if you don't want to see America go to war, I think it's fair to say that a European's view of dependency.
Well said. Listen, I'm of the mind also that this we have. Barack Obama, and I think faith from my father, progressive in this country, believe that America needs to not be knocked down a peg. Its greatness by exploiting and taking advantage of other countries, gain their wealth on the backs of the poor and the middle class. And I truly believe that Barack Obama see us, for lack of a better term, put in our place.
I think that's exactly right. I think that the whole idea is that President more nicely retreats a little bit more, and then all of a sudden America is going to be loved. Well, I've got news for the people. We'll never be loved. And much more important than being loved is to be respected. America shouldn't be interested in good intentions. America should be interested in good attempts to take down America a peg or retreat or do whatever it is. And weakness, Mike, is provocative. Weakness invites people testing the border. It's why you see Vladimir Putin crying. It is absolutely no surprise to me for even a second that at the same time and dismantling its military, that Russia and China are advancing. It's almost as if this president has a third world view of American power. He feels sheepish about it.
Listen, Nick, this is just respecting your time. We got about 30 seconds left, and I want to, I hear you to be an honorary Texan. Is that true?
Well, not last week, but yes.
Perfect. Listen, Nick, we're out of time. I really appreciate you joining me. Maybe we can have you back sometime. I'm joining the Mike Miller Show.
I really appreciate it. God bless you, Mike. Thank you for being a patriotic warrior.